Hey, we're back.
Hey,
Did
we
you get
were
that?
so, I felt like we had disappeared.
Wait. Can you wait? Even though we have so much schedule conflict, do you realize we're on like episode 23 of doing this show?
I know, that's crazy.
Like that's a whole season for my Tim Gillette show.
That's crazy. We're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, we're doing great. We're doing great. I miss doing this. I've become a podcast addict, and I was having withdrawals.
I know. So the last few weeks, all right, what happened was the last week I had this new class that I started taking on Fridays, and the week before was going to be my virtual event, but I was sick. I didn't do my virtual event because I literally was in bed sick with COVID. So,
Well, we're glad you're feeling better.
I kicked COVID's ass for the second time.
Yay! Woo woo woo!
So, and I had someone on my podcast, Tim Gillette Show, earlier this week, and we talked about. I'm a Christian, and my spiritual beliefs are, you know what I mean. If I pass away, I'm going to a better place, right? That's just a belief I have. And I was talking to this person. We're talking about, losing a family member, and the person's like, "Yeah, I've lost the person, but truthfully, they're far better off than I am, right? Because we believe in heaven is a better place. It's a perfect place, and we live in an imperfect world, right? So it's like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, if I die of COVID, is it really, really a bad thing? Well, on Earth it is because you guys are me, but I'm in a better place. So, I mean, there's an upside no matter which way you look at it. I miss my friend Rob and wish he was still on this planet. I wish my dad, I wish he was still on this planet. But God seemed fit to change that. So anyway.
I get it, but it's the people that are left behind that are the ones that hurt the most. And that goes along with the story in regards to when you lose somebody. But I mean, it's one of those arguments that people go back and forth with in regards to the vaccinations and all that other stuff. And I won't get into it, but it's.
No, the last time we talked about vaccinations on the show, I went through a period of my account being locked out.
Yeah, we're not going there.
But did you hear the story about, you know what I mean? The two friends that they always said for years, hey, if one of us dies, we have to come back and let the other person know if there's baseball in heaven.
If there's space in heaven?
Baseball.
Oh, baseball.
Yeah, in heaven.
I thought you said if there's space.
No. So one of the gentlemen dies, right? And he comes back to his friends about 7 days later, and he comes on his sleep and he says, hey, George, good news. He says, yeah, what's the good news? Good news is there's baseball. There is baseball in heaven. And he says, but there's bad news. He says, what's the bad news? You're pitching on Tuesday night.
Little did you know.
Yeah. But anyway.
Well, talking about today's events and so forth, I don't know if you saw this or not, and I wanted to get people out there to know about this, but there's a scam going across for both Android and iPhones that supposedly if you click on, it's either an email or some type of link, that they can get access to all of your bank accounts, and they're cleaning them all out. And so far, 1 million people have been affected by this virus.
Okay, so can you tell me what that link is?
It's on, gosh.
Only Katrina would have the link for you to click on. I'm just saying, all right? Not saying that Katrina is the person who's cleaning out your bank accounts, but she has the link.
I have the link. It's fascinated me because you know me, I'm always fascinated in regards to keeping things secure and so forth. And I thought, I mean, this is an ongoing thing that we all deal with, but now they're attacking the phones. Normally it's your computer and you're opening up an email and so on and so forth. But now they realize so many people are utilizing their phones so much, and that's kind of their computer they take with them because it's so smart, that now they're starting to attack that. So it's just a matter of being smart. But I was just looking through this and thinking, oh my God, Now we're going here. I knew it would happen eventually.
You know,
But-
if you get a text message from somebody you don't know, chances are you shouldn't click on the link.
Well, no, here's the thing though. Some people get a text from people they know, but they don't look at the email address. The email address is the important part, because just like with Be Vape, it looks legit. It's got the logo, everything looks legit. But what people don't realize is there's spelling and grammar errors in it. 9 times out of 10, the email address has gobbledygook in it. It should say support at bankofamerica.com, not.
So bottom line is you don't take email from Bank of America. That would solve that problem. No, I'm on Chase. If Chase sent, all right, so here's the deal. If Chase, I get an email from Chase saying you need to do something, blah, 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 blah. I don't click on anything in the email.
Yeah.
I go to my Chase account to check it out. That's just common sense. That's the number one way that I've avoided things, because I learned it the hard way when I had actually that computer right there, that white laptop right there is where it got me.
It's now dead weight.
And I actually replaced the hard drive into it to get rid of it, right?
Yep.
The problem was in 2012 or 2011, I went to it was when my dad passed away, and a friend of mine who I was at a bike rally with in 2010, her computer got hacked, and they sent me a message that basically said, "Hey, here's a picture of you of us at that's all it said." Well, it was believable because that person and I were involved in a lot of activities at the bike rally. So I believed it and clicked it. The problem is on the PCs, it was quicker to get in the virus. At the time, my wife said, and I was on the road because of my dad, she said, well, let me just go buy the Mac you want to get. And I'm like, no. I don't have time to learn a whole new computer thing. So I'll work around it for 30 days. And I basically just went down to a store in Pennsylvania, bought another hard drive and had them put the hard drive in and a new operating system and wipe it.
Yeah.
But I since have gone to Mac, and I think I've only had 1 or 2 instances where I've gotten my Mac got affected with something and I was able to get it back out. So,
well, and here's the thing though too, and we've just talked about this a little bit on the show, is that a lot of people who have Apples think they're untouched when it comes to viruses and so forth, and that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, it is. Come on, get real. I mean, come on. You think you got to have a Mac? Not
the case anymore. Not the case anymore. And I knew that would happen. And I had people that were Apple people that kept saying, oh, the PC, it's always da-da-da. But something to keep in mind, and I'm not going back and forth on this, but something to keep in mind is the PC has been dealing with it for so long, they get it taken care of much quicker than Apple because they already know what to do because they've been dealing with it for so long. So, there's that give and take depending on what system you like. But I just thought, oh, here we go. Smartphones are now starting to get hacked. So it's just, it's common sense. But like you said, when you see something and you think, oh, that's legit, that sounds right. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll click on that.
My email's been messed up on my phone for a few weeks anyway. So I hardly ever look at my emails on my phone anyway. So, and
it's one of those things. You just really got to watch what you're doing online, and it is what it is. And it's always been one of my, I always geek out on that stuff. That's the first thing I always look at in regards to, what's going on? Mm-hmm. What's the new and latest thing that's out there that's catching people off guard?
Yeah.
So just something to think about.
You have some entrepreneurial topics this week. So the first topic you have here is, do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? I like that one. What were you thinking when you come up with that? Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur?
The thing is I'm involved in a coaching program, and I hear a lot of people, in these coaching programs, including Craig's coaching program, that when somebody has come to the forefront of their business and they're trying to make an investment on themselves or their business, the first excuse they always come up with is, I don't have the money, business isn't good, I'm not doing well. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about what it really entails to be an entrepreneur, because as we know, it's a totally different animal than being in corporate. Totally different animal. Mm-hmm. And it's run totally different. But I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, and this is something that really stuck with me, is when people say they don't have money, then you're actually have a hobby. Until you're making money in that business, it's more of a hobby than it is a business. And I don't think people look at it that way, as well as I don't think they look at that investment being an investment in themselves and their business. They just look at it as, I only have this much money. I know I need to grow. I don't know if I can do this. It's a big leap. And so, and that's part of the work that it takes to be part of that as an entrepreneur. We all start by ourselves. We all wear all the hats. We all do everything when you're starting off as an entrepreneur. And some of us have capital to begin with, and some of us have nothing to begin with, and we just start from scratch. So I think it just proceeds itself to look at what are your resources that you have out there to help you succeed and grow. And I know right now there are so many coaching programs out there. There are so many business coaches out there. It makes it really hard, I think, for an entrepreneur to sit down and look at that as a mindset and trying to move forward. And okay, I've got 10 different coaches I got to choose from. Which one do I choose? Which one's right for me? How do I do that? How do I make that decision when there's just so much? So I thought it was a good opportunity that we could kind of flesh out, because I've been there and I know you've been there, and we've all gone through various different coaches. Some of them we paid money for that didn't work out so well, and some of them we paid money for that really catapulted us forward. How do you make that decision?
I've always said, Katrina, when it comes to being in business for yourself, you don't need a coach. A coach will help you be better.
Yes.
Right? You need a coach if you want to get better, but you can do it on your own. And this is the catch in entrepreneurs. All right. I interviewed a guy yesterday on my Tim Gillette show, and he's a blind guy who used to run carnival rides. Him and his family run carnivals blind.
Wow.
Blind.
He's blind? How does he run it?
And he said, one of the things he said was, as a family running the carnival, was they literally would get done on Thursday night at 4:30 and literally run in and wash up everything that's visible, and the grease was still in the rest of their body because they had to have the carnival open in 14 minutes. And he said, that's an entrepreneur. No matter what happens, the carnival has to be open by 5 p.m. on Thursday night for the weekend, because if we don't open, we don't stay in business.
Yeah, we don't make money.
That was their whole idea. That's an entrepreneur. All right.
Yeah.
They open. Right now, we're dealing with shortages and stuff in America. And it's like some of the places that I regular here in the Dallas area are like, we're shut down because we can't get enough employees to show up. Well, we can't get enough, whatever. Dude, your employees aren't business minded. That's why. All they think about is like this job is here to give me a paycheck. All right. Yep. And they're not treating it like a business. And you get managers who've never owned a business trying to run a business.
I agree.
Somebody in that management position who knows what it's like to be an entrepreneur, knowing the fact that if the door doesn't open, we can't pay rent to stay in this spot come next week.
And that brings up a story. I don't know if I brought this up before, but I used to work at Kentucky Fried Chicken when I was a teenager. And my mom taught me that customer that comes in is the one who pays your bill, not the manager, not the company. It's that customer. If there's no customers, there's no money, there's no check. I knew that going in. And there was this young girl who was at the counter, and she's treating the customer like crap. And I said, do you realize what you've just done? That money that just went out the door, that's not going to go to our competition. You just lost money in your paycheck. Oh, no, I don't. The manager gives me my paycheck. Where do you think the money comes from?
Yeah.
The manager. You think the manager automatically has this money and it's just magical and he's going to pay you? If there's no customer coming in, there's no money. It was so difficult for her to get that mindset. And I think that's one of the problems, like you profess to, when it comes to hiring people on, especially with retail and that type of thing, is they don't care. They don't care about the customer. They don't care about the job. Half the time you walk in and it's like, can I get some help? It used to be, how can I help you? What can I do? What can I, before it was like they were all over the place. Now it's like cricket. You can't get anybody to help you.
I walk into a business, and Starbucks right now is one of the ones that you walk in the door. They still try, the good ones are still trying to greet you when you walk in the door. I walked into a McDonald's in Irving on Friday because where I was going to this class on Friday, I stop at the McDonald's just down the street and get a little small breakfast because I know I'm going to be a long time before I get lunch. So I do that. I jump into that McDonald's, and that McDonald's in Irving, Texas. Basically, every time I go in, somebody from the front desk, "Hey, welcome to McDonald's today." I don't get that in every McDonald's. McDonald's here by my house, they're like, "Yeah, customer, oh great,"
What do you want?
Yeah. But I mean, that's the same mindset of the people who are going in, going, why do you guys have to kill cows? I mean, can't you just get your beef from the grocery store like I do? Dude, where do you think it comes from?
Yeah.
Right. We don't know. We don't understand the logics of it. All right. And you talk about KFC. I worked in a Texaco gas station in Tewksbury, Massachusetts in 1988. And I had a boss who literally, I worked there, and the boss's mentality on the company was, the oldest person here is the boss. It's seniority based as to who's the boss.
Okay.
The oldest person there was the person who'd been with the company longer, because he started when he was 14, was younger than me. He was 19 years old, and he literally was the most senior person there. So he's the boss. He would come in on my shift and get in the way. And I went to my boss and I said, Frank, guy's name was Frank. I said, Frank, I have a problem with this guy. Every night he comes in and gets in the way. I can't take care of customers. And Frank said to me, Tim, I want you to treat your shift like you own this business. If he's in the way and it's costing the business money, that's money coming out of your pocket. If you could tell him to move and make money for the business, that's money going into your pocket. He says, I want you to think that way. Changed my entire outlook on business right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had the same thing happen to me. I worked at Orange Julius. Mm-hmm. And this manager said, idle hands cause idle minds. Said, you're here to get a paycheck. You're here to work. Do the work.
Yeah.
That means if you have to clean while nobody's here, that means if you have to stop while nobody's here, this is a business, and look at it as such. It's a business. And if you don't do your part and be part of that, there no longer will be a business and you won't have a paycheck. Yeah. So it's up to you what you want to do. And she's the one who taught me about the customer and the customer service experience, which as entrepreneurs, I personally believe as entrepreneurs, we have a better customer mindset, because we know that customer is the only way we're going to get paid today. That customer, if we don't treat them right, are going to go to the competition, because there's a ton of competition out there. And that's what, and so I think as an entrepreneur, that's one of the key things. And this is something that I just heard over this 3-day conference I had with Sandra Yancey, is that's going to be the make or break this coming year for businesses, is how well do you treat your customers? Because there's a lot of competition out there now, because so many people have quit. They're now starting their own businesses. Yeah. And guess what? If you can't get them what they need, and you can't treat them as well as they expect to be treated, they're going to go to that competition.
That's right. They're not going to keep coming around, and it's one of the.
No, and that's why I think as an entrepreneur in that mindset, it's a totally different mindset, because you know that if you don't bring that business in, if you don't have that connection with the customer, you're not going to make the money. You're not going to get the things you need to get accomplished. But part of that mindset, though, too, and I think this is where a lot of entrepreneurs really get mystified, is how do I put systems in place and all this other stuff so that I don't have to work so hard? And that in itself is a lot of things out there, too, that there's so many systems that we've talked about with Kartra and these other ones. There are a ton of systems out there, but then they get confused, and somebody tells them there's this one, and then there's this one, and then there's this one. So I just thought it was an opportunity to talk about that entrepreneurial mindset and how we have so many hats we've got to wear. We got to figure these things out, because there really is not a lot of businesses that or any training out there. We're going to teach you how to be an entrepreneur. Part of that treating to be an entrepreneur is how to treat the customer, how to put those systems in place, how to do this, how to do that, how to do this. There's really nothing out there doing that.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that profess they are, but they throw so much information at people, they get so overwhelmed, they walk away and they do nothing. So there's
Yeah.
really nothing out there to help that entrepreneur that's never gone into business before, that's never done this before. And now all of a sudden they're expected to, okay, run a business. You can do it.
Well, how many people though? I mean, if we want to look at statistics, how many people fail at their first business?
Oh, there is
Wow.
between 75 to 85% of businesses don't even make it through past their first year.
I know. I remember a
their
couple years
fifth
ago.
year, or don't even make it into their 10th year because they quit. They get so burnt out because they don't find the resources or the things they need to get them moving forward. They get burnt out, and that love or that dream that they wanted, all of a sudden now it's like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I haven't seen my family. I haven't eaten. I can't sleep. I can't drink. I'm done. I can't do it.
If you don't understand, when you start a business, it becomes the mainstay of your life. And I knew that every business I've ever created, it becomes the mainstay of my life. But every time I've ever put the mainstay of my life, until I could get the job into an organized fashion to be able to take time off. All right, that's the jobs I was successful at.
Yep.
Yep. And I think a lot of us are missing that opportunity. I remember I worked for Starbucks from 2005 to 2010 as a part-time barista. And one of the Starbucks I worked for, which I was the night shift manager, there was another coffee chain out of they were out of California, but there's a guy who bought a franchise and put it up right across the street from us. And it was across the street from one of the busiest Starbucks in Plano, Texas at the time. And we thought it was strange. But this guy, I mean, we went over and talked to him, me and the manager. We went over and talked to him. He gave us a tour of the store. I mean, very outgoing person, right? He sunk everything he had into it. And he lasted 9 months.
Yeah.
9 months, and he was out. And it was his first time he's telling me. I have a friend who just before the pandemic sold out or took out everything on his retirement to build a franchise barbershop. He just sold it at half of what he had into it 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Basically, he was up against it. He just couldn't make it operate. He didn't know how to run a business.
No. And
it's totally different than running your job. I'm sorry, it is. It takes a whole different skill.
It does. I mean, when I first started my business, I came from corporate. I'd been in corporate for 30 years working as an admin. And I figured I can take my corporate information. I mean, it's all organized. It's all laid out the same way. I can take that hat and I can put it into my hat for being an entrepreneurial. Mm-hmm. Not even close. Not even close. And that was my mistake the first year. Mm-hmm. And I kind of call the first year of your business the whiplash year. You go to networking events, you try and get out there, and there's everybody out there. Oh, you should do this. 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 Until somebody who was really smart sat me down and said, do you realize that the advice you're getting are from people that aren't making any money?
You're right.
They're not successful. So how is it that you're taking that advice from somebody who isn't even walking the walk or talking the talk? Mm-hmm. You look at the people that are successful, and they're the people that you look at that are higher than you, that are where you want to be, and that's who you talk to. That's who you get the advice from.
Yeah, and the difference between a coach and a mentor.
Oh, yeah.
There's a difference between a coach and a mentor right there. So
big difference.
Well, I want to shift this a little bit on, go into our, kind of got in, we've kind of shifted towards mindset in our next topic, but I want to shift something in mindset because I don't watch NFL football games hardly ever throughout the season. I literally, this whole thing, 2016-17 with the national anthem and kneeling and, BS. I just was not into it. Right.
Yeah.
So I stopped watching the NFL games. And there was even one year that I didn't watch the Super Bowl because of this. Well, this past week, all right, I decided to start watching some of this year, I started to watch some of the playoff games. And this past weekend, the playoff games was very, very unique in lessons for
Yeah.
life, right? And that was, first of all, I mean, Tom Brady lost, and everybody thought, well, oh man, first of all, I'm happy Tom Brady's not in, whatever, right? But Tom Brady's mindset was that's business. I mean, he was not mad at all at the other team. He's like, nope, you kidding? I gave my best on the field. They gave their best on the field. You know what? This time, their best was better, and they win, and they get to move on. And then I got to watch that because our friend Craig, all right, Kansas City fan, Kansas City and
Really
Buffalo,
true.
all right. Now, first of all, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, great team, by the way, but Kansas City Buffalo game, all right. I wrote to Craig. I sent a text to him, and I think I said something to the effect of, now that was like probably the most intense game I've ever seen in history. And Craig wrote me back. He says, Tim, that was the greatest football game in NFL history.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't know who was going to win that game, right? And it's
it went back and forth.
For 13 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth.
That's a mindset thing. Both of those quarterbacks were like, I'm not losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the mindset of it goes even further into business mindset. The mindset of the losing quarterback, because of they said whoever won the coin toss in overtime was going to win it because both of them were hard driving teams. He's not once out there going, well, I think that's unfair the way that coin toss thing works in overtime. No, he said no, because if I'd have won the coin toss, I'd be on the other side. You kidding? All right. I'm on the losing side of this. And he said, you know what? I gave my all on that field. All right. And Patrick Mahomes left the celebration to go find him to say thanks for a good game, man.
And that's really good sportsmanship.
Well, it's
really
not sportsmanship. It's two guys giving their all, knowing one of the two of us is going to go home a loser. But you know what? I'm giving my all. And then you go to thank the other guy. Thanks for giving your all.
Yeah.
Thanks for not half-assing this game, but giving your all in this game to make me earn it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's true things. And then I don't know if you've seen this, the Kansas City fans, because basically the gentleman who I don't know the coach or the quarterback from Buffalo, but he's like, if we win today, I'm donating all kinds of money to such and such charity. And you did. All the Kansas City fans went and donated to that charity to thank that quarterback for giving his all, even though he lost.
Yeah.
And his whole thing was, hey, if I win today, I want every one of my fans to give. But because he was all, the fans of the other team gave.
Well, and I think it's interesting when you bring up the team too and NFL, because it's interesting because you also watch those games where they've given up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The other team is ahead. They're in the fourth quarter. They only have 5 minutes left, and they're thinking, "There's no way we're going to get caught up." So, what's the point? And you see the whole team is kind of given up. Mm-hmm. So when you see those teams that are neck and neck or headbutting, or even when they're below, and they say, "No, they're not winning. We are going to win." It makes it. You see that on the field. It not only makes it for a good game, it really makes it great for the fans to root them on because, like you said, they're giving their all. Whether they're down or up, they're giving their all, regardless of the fact. And a lot of times, like I said, you see that other team that's below, they just give up.
Yeah.
You see the defeat.
I mean, if more people would have that mindset in their business.
Yeah.
I mean, this past weekend with NFL playoff games is the greatest thing for you guys to look at. And maybe it's what we need in America right now is to see the NFL playing with their hearts out to say, you know what, maybe if you play with your hearts out in your business, maybe you could be successful. Yeah, you're gonna lose half the time, but you know what? You're gonna win half the time too.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to play all out.
Yeah.
That's the thing. As an entrepreneur, you have to play all out. And I think a lot of times that's the reason why so many businesses falter is because they give up. Yeah. This is too hard. I can't do this anymore. I didn't get into this business to work this hard. That's the point, is when you're running your own business, it's not easy. It's hard work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard work. It's easier to go to corporate and get a job and work there and let somebody else make the decisions and do everything. And then you just go in, you do your job, you're done. You go in, you do your job, you're done. But for some people, that works great because that's all they want. And that's perfect. But as an entrepreneurial, I truly believe that, like you said, you really have to put not only your heart, your soul, and everything into it. How badly do you really want to make this business thrive? How
Yeah.
badly do you really want to make this business survive? And if that means you have to go get a job to get the money coming in so that you can afford this or that, you do whatever it takes.
Mhm.
And I think that's the one thing that's missing for a lot of entrepreneurs is when they start to come into this realm and they start to do it and realize how much hard work it is.
Yeah.
They say, oh, no, I can't do this. It's like the same my husband always said. It's always easy to do the wrong thing. It's really hard to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Yeah.
And that's part of being an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
It's easy to quit and say, no, put my hands up, can't do this. I did everything I could, didn't work. I'm one of those, I don't give up. I just don't give up. When I'm like a bull. If I want something, damn it, I'm going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it until I'm dead in my grave. I just keep doing it. And because of that, I've managed to get through, believe it or not, going on 15 years of being in business this coming April. 15 years.
I think I'm 13 this year.
Yeah.
I'm 2 years behind you. But it's all right. I've had other businesses. This isn't my first rodeo.
Yeah, but the thing is my business has changed. Things have changed. I've changed the model. I've had to adapt. I mean, it's been this roller coaster ride, and I think that's the hardest part with the mindset of an entrepreneur. It's not easy being on a roller coaster ride all the time.
Yeah,
sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, sometimes you're doing really well, sometimes you're not. It's hard to be on that ride constantly. It takes a certain mindset and a certain tenacity, I truly believe, to be a true entrepreneur. And that's all mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I thought it was a really good topic to talk about, because a lot of times the hardest part we have is we get into our head too much. Mm-hmm. And then we start to give up because we're in our head.
I mean, it kind of goes into your last point that you had today was, the person who's limiting you is you.
Yeah.
It's not, truthfully, when it comes down to my business, all right, the person who's screwing it up isn't Katrina. It's me. I'm limiting myself as to what I can do or what I believe I can do.
Yeah.
All right. And that's it. I mean, like I'm dealing with in my investment company. I'm dealing with just like right now, I feel like it's stagnant, and I'm like, come on, I want to, and I remember, it's all I can do is look for opportunities. I can't force it. All right. But I also can't blame. Well, it's whoever's president.
Market.
Yeah. I can't, it's Biden, it's Trump. It's,
yeah,
it's all right. It's because I live in Texas or I live in New Mexico. No, it's me.
Yeah. Yeah. When the day ends, you have to look at yourself and decide, what does this look like? And why didn't it succeed? Or why isn't this working? And what do I need to change? Or what do I need to get in place to make it work? Or who do I need to talk to help me get out of this mindset so that I can move forward?
What are some of the exercises you do or things you do in your world to get out of a shall we say, an effed up?
There's two things I do. Mm-hmm. And I got this from Sandra Yancey as well as Craig. Mm-hmm. One is I write myself a letter with the intent that all I talk about are the wins, the good things that happen, even if they're tiny little things. And it's a cheerleader. It's like this third person talking to me. Mm-hmm. Hey, you did great at this and blah, 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 blah. And look at how you accomplished this and that type of thing. And then I try and meditate and really get out of my head, like just flush everything out. So that way I can start to be able to get that chatter out of my head. I have to quiet it. And those are the two key things that if things aren't working, 9 times out of 10, when I'm done with that exercise, those 2 exercises, I start to realize, oh, okay, if I did this and this, then I can get to that okay, and if I do this, then I can move forward to, okay, got it. And I think that's the hardest part, is that chatter. And I was there like anybody else. I was constantly beating myself up. Why am I not making this money? Why am I not here? Why am I not here? And I think that's the biggest mindset that we go through, is I want to make $120,000. And if you're not making it, you're not a success. That's not it. It's not just about the money. It's about how you feel inside when that business and that client you've helped and the person you've managed to, help them get from point A to point B, whether that's coaching, website, whatever. That's the true, I think that's where the magic lies. It's not the money. The money will come.
Yeah. So there's two things that I do to get past that limiting belief. Number one, it goes back to two things Craig has always taught. Number one is act as if.
Yeah.
So I've got to put in my mindset, all right, I believe I am successful, all right, so I got to act it, right? And the second one has always been, for me, go and tell no man. So if I'm out there and I want to go try something, I don't tell everybody I'm going to do it. I just go start doing it, right? Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things we have in our social media world. We want to tell everybody we're doing it, but we don't do it. Yeah. I go do it before I tell everybody I'm doing it. So everybody's like, well, Tim, how did this change? Like, yeah, because I went and started and did it. I didn't tell you I was going to do it. I just did it.
I'm the same way. I've got a membership site nobody knows about. I've got a podcast. I'm doing live tips and everything, but I'm not out there telling everybody about it. I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
And then I want to start honing in those skills. Yeah. And the only way to do that is just do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the other thing is I've also built a thing on, either you're with me or you're not. What is it? All right. So, I have coaching clients, right? And I have a coaching mentorship program. I call it an inner circle, right? I made a decision in December that I'm only going to, I used to kind of open it for my live events. Well, I made a decision in December, like, you know what? I'm only going to open it 2 times a year. It's opening for like a 3-month period, and then I close it down, and it opens up a couple, months later for a 3-month period, and then I close it down.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. All right. So I got people coming along going, well, I'll join, you know what I mean? And I want to get in January. I'm just like, I'm sorry, it's not open in January. You have to get in on such and such date, or you don't get in. So.
Yeah, being selective. And that's part of being
it's being selective too, because I don't want, there's certain people I don't want in my group. I've started to clean out. And literally in 2021, I cleaned people out of my group that I just didn't want around anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with them. I'm sorry. It's just like, you know what I mean? I want to deal with certain people, and I am not letting the mindset of the other people who don't want to get on board and go. I don't want to be around them. Nah.
Well, and that's that. And I think that's the hardest part to see. And I was there at one time. Mm-hmm. I was there because I was overwhelmed and I was taking things. And then before I knew it, people were asking, are you acting on it? And I'd be saying, I'm trying. It's like, well, have you? Well, no. So then how are you expecting to get results if you haven't acted on it? And that, I think, is the biggest thing that a lot of us come up against. Mm-hmm. We go to this thing and that thing and this conference and that webinar and this Zoom call and this virtual event. And then we walk away and say, well, that was nice, but it didn't really help me. Did you really do any of it? I mean, that's the biggest thing. And we've talked about this before. As an entrepreneur, in order to really move ahead, you've got to act. Even if there's like 2, maybe 3 little nuggets in that big scheme of whatever that conference or whatever it is you took, you're just taking those 3 little nuggets and just, commit to yourself that I'm going to just implement these 3 things. If anything else, I'll just implement these. And I think that's the key, is just acting. And that's what I had to do as well. I mean, I was just as guilty as the next person. I'm not perfect, and I've gone through all this. And that's why I'm saying this, is because I've been there. I've done it. And because I've done a lot of these things and I've acted upon them, is how I've managed to perpetuate and move my business forward. Yeah. Even when I was caring for my mom, who had Alzheimer's for 5.5 years, as her care increased, my business decreased, and then I had to start all over again. Wow. It was what it was. I can't sit and cry in my soup and go, oh no, what do I do now?
Yeah, exactly. So So, I mean, this has been an exciting week and everything. All right, with all the stuff we're talking about. One of the things I don't know if we addressed it. We did show January 7th or something like that. So it was like I
Yeah,
think our first show of the year.
yeah.
It's been a few weeks, but what are things that you're going to do in 2022 that you're changing up in your business?
I'm going to work on really being more customer oriented. I've kind of taken that for granted. And so I'm really working to put some things in place to really let my customers know and reach out to them that I'm here. I'm here to help you. I'm here to do this. I'm here to do that. That's my biggest thing this year, is to really show and really love upon my customers and let them know that I'm here for them. I haven't done that, and I'm guilty of, I'm going to put this in place and it's going to happen. I'm going to put this in, but I'm really committed myself that this year that's going to happen.
Okay. Cool. I love it. All right, that you're moving forward. So, you have a website tip this week, don't you?
I do. And this is something I know I've talked about before, but it drives me crazy. That's why I would talk about it. So I know a lot of times when people are putting their website together, or they go to a webmaster, or they have somebody put the website together for them, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, what about SEO? Which is search
Some
engine.
extraterrestrials outside. Oh.
Yeah. Search engine optimization. What about SEO? What about that? You know what? Stop thinking about the SEO and worry about these three key things that'll get you automatic SEO.
SBO, yeah.
SEO.
That's some of the traffic you get when you try to focus on SEO. That's the BO traffic, yeah.
That's BO.
Or the BS traffic, yeah. Anyway.
Exactly. One, of course, is content that talks to your clients, talks to the pain that they're going through, instead of talking above them or at them. Quit telling them all about your accolades. They don't care. They want to know, what are you going to help me with? How can you help me get from this problem to a solution? That's what they want to know. The second thing is, when you're putting images up, a lot of times when you're downloading those images, it comes across with all this gobbledygook. Letters and numbers and so on and so forth, which means nothing on the SEO side. So name those pictures. Make them relevant to name what that picture is, and put a descriptor on there, because sometimes those pictures kind of get miscued, and the only thing you'll see is this little box. And if you click on it, it'll tell the descriptor of what that picture is about. But it helps with SEO.
I think they should label their pictures. Tim Gillette's a great guy. Click here to find out more. I'm just saying, that's just an idea I have.
Yeah. And the third and final thing is always updating your website. Google's looking at these key things. And if you're not updating your website and it's becoming stale and nothing's been done on it, they're going to put you towards the bottom, because if you're not going to pay attention to it, why should they?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. And that's what the algorithms are set up to do. Yes, they constantly change, but the three key things of the SEO in regards to Google are your pictures, your content, is it relevant to your clients and your audience, as well as, are you updating on a regular basis, whether that be new images, blogs, your feed, whatever the case may be. You've got to be updating on a regular basis. Those are very simple things you can put in place to get SEO, instead of coming up to a webmaster and say, what are you going to do for my SEO? That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have a little quick content tip this week. All right. And I'm really going to mess with people today. You ready? People are sick and tired of seeing you on Facebook talking like you're the king of all BS. You ain't. Nobody's listening to your freaking preaching session. We stopped. We ain't going to tune into it anymore. All right. Everybody has a camera and a microphone now. Make something freaking relevant in what you're talking about. What's going on? What is super interesting that's going to make them want to click onto that and find out more? No one cares that you're going to coach them. They don't want to be coached. They want results in their life and business. Talk about the results they can get in their life and business, all right? Or actually do some sort of act or game or something that makes your content relevant and makes people want to click on it. There are so many, and I do mean so many, live stream shows out there that are filled with, And our speaker today is, who gives a shit?
Amen, brother.
All right. This is to the, you know, with the fact that Zoom and got so relevant during the pandemic, dude, we are sick of people talking. We're sick of talking heads, and they went from talking heads on media to talking heads on social media. Dude, we don't want it anymore. Make the content so relevant they can't click off of it. All right. Make it about them. All right. Like we always make it about our guests, Robert. Because Robert is our number one fan. We thank you, Robert.
Yay, Robert.
All right. We're always gonna pitch Robert because he's our number one fan. But that's it. Make it about the people who are listening to you. Because if you can't help them, they tune in to see you going, good job. Good job. They don't give a shit, dude. Anyway, that's my content tip of the week.
Good content. Great content. Give them something they want, people.
Really.
And they don't want you. They want solutions. They want tips. They want something they can use right now.
Yeah. So
and if you want that, watch my Facebook Live.
You want that? Go watch Katrina pat herself on the back on her Facebook Lives. I haven't done Facebook Lives with just me or my Simple Easy podcast. I haven't done it almost a year now.
I'm just doing simple tips to help people along the way. That's it. Yeah. If it helps them, great. If it doesn't,
yeah, I've got to go back to I'm going to go back in and start doing the Simple Easy Marketing podcast with either my 52-week marketing plan or with my You Don't Need a Life Coach. So I'm probably going to pull them because between the two of them, I got enough to do a whole year's worth of freaking content. So
yeah, anyway. And that's the thing too. There's a lot of content out there, people. There's no reason why you can't put really good content. Just think of your audience. Think of your audience.
We were infamous before we became accepted in the old JVlog community.
JVlog.
Yep. Anyway, well, that's about all we have for this week. So
good stuff.
Should we tell them where to find us outside of this? I'm just curious. First of all, they should go to our new website. Will be up, but they really need to like our Facebook page.
Yes, and YouTube too, right?
YouTube, yeah. I'm still trying to get the YouTube numbers up. So you know what I mean? Once we get our YouTube, and I don't have it on a banner for directly to the YouTube. Our YouTube, we still need to try to get our custom name on YouTube. All right. We need 100 subscribers, and we ain't nowhere near that. So it would be great if you'd help us get 100 subscribers by sharing out our YouTube channel. All right. Go check it out. Anyway, so but our website up. Where's the other one here? I have a website here. This is where they find you. Tell them where they can find you there, Katrina.
Websitedesigns.com.
So Katrina is the person who's going to be doing our website on the businessgspot.com. And in 2022, I'm going to have Katrina probably do a revamp of my website to make the content. I've got to get a photo. I'm getting a photo shoot next week. So I'm going to come up with a different look now that I've had for years. And then we're going to do a couple tweaks on the website. So cool.
Yay.
But in the meantime, I'm going to go back into doing virtual events. All right. So virtual events, I'm doing them every month of the year except for May and November, where I do a live event in Dallas. All right. And you can, when you go to simpleeasyevents.com, it's going to tell you whatever that month is. Our next one is I think it's the 18th of February. Yeah. February 18th is going to be our next one. All right. We have 5 speakers every month, talk about online marketing tips. All right. And how to better your online marketing, whether you have to do it yourself or you have to give a team of people in there. So I think Katrina's speaking this month, right, Katrina? One way to corner you is put you on the spot.
We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk.
I had great ones lined up for January, but unfortunately I was down with COVID and did not have the energy to come up here and do I should have put someone else in charge of it and let them do the show, but yeah, I didn't. So
that's what you need. You need some help.
I do. I need an assistant to run things.
Just like that old song, that ant, the little ant.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am Tim Gillette, Simple Easy Events, and timgillette.com. All right. And my co-host here is Miss
Katrina Garcia with KG Website Designs, helping your website get you leads, grow your business, and make you money.
Yep. And we together do the Business G Spot. We'll be back. Well, we will probably, we may have a recording up next week or the next 2 weeks, but it will not be us live. So we're going to pre-record it ahead of time because we were both at events the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
So it's that time of year where people are doing live events again.
I know, it's amazing. I can't wait to see you in person.
I know. You have to come to Texas to see that now, right?
I know.
Because I'm not going to California right now.
I'm not in California, my dear.
Yeah. Well, no, the events we used to go to were in California, and
yeah,
I ain't going to California. There's just until this mess clears up a little bit better. There's a couple states I'm not going to for events. I actually just turned down an event in New York City, or in New York, the state. I refuse to go.
It's crazy.
There's just some people out there, some places that the way they're dealing with it, I don't want to deal with it. All right. New York and California are kind of two of them that I'm kind of going, you know what, right now, you want to hold your events there? I'm out.
Crazy.
Well, first, I don't want to get on a plane right now. And by the way, I don't want to get on a plane, but you know what came in my email this morning was my renewal for
Southwest Airlines?
No, for TSA.
Oh, got it.
TSA renewal came up today. And I'm like, oh, am I going to go get it? Because am I going to fly again or not? I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Well, all right. Let's say goodbye for another week. We'll see you guys next week, guys. Have a great one.
Ta-ta. Have a good week.